You know the worst thing is about getting older?
What's that?
Your fucking goatee goes beard.
But at least your memory and your speech works.
True that, Benson. Your fucking goatee and your beard go white.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of grey in mine.
Fucking pisses me off. Oh, well.
At least you got a full head of hair, huh?
That's true.
It's that time again.
Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes. Watch out!
Welcome to the Courtside Podcast. I'm your host, Wayno, and with me, the People's Champ. The champ is here! Vince, welcome back to the show.
Oh, it's good to be back with the second richest man in Sydney, Benson, because I've got to put us over Benson because someone else didn't.
Oh my god, are you still going on about this? Oh my god. Stu Benson. Stu, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I wasn't sure if it was still a thing. I figured we just merged into a comic book podcast and I was out of a job.
See, I'm tipping if Benson goes back on Sunrise, he's going to get a shout out.
So you're mad because we're on a comic book podcast. Shout out to Into the Night at Moon Knight podcast. My good friends Ray and Connor over there do a fantastic job. I guess hosted it last week. Had heaps of fun and forgot to shout out my co-hosts.
I guess I hosted it last week.
And they're very bitter. Very, very bitter.
No.
And I'll never do it again. I'm really sorry because it's all I've heard all week.
This is how it went down, Benson. They said, "Oh, anything you want to plug?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to plug my show. This you can find it here. No mention of you."
I didn't say it like that. You asswipe.
I'm your only host, Wayno.
Tough crowd tonight. All right. So you're saying you listen to the show?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the download.
Is that your only one, or how did it go? Did it rate through the roof?
A little bit controversial.
Well, do tell.
Some people didn't like my review, did they? I did outline from the start that, I was going to be very unapologetic for it and just going to call it how I see it.
Well, people are finding out what I've been telling them for years. You're a bit of a dick.
Some people listening to that show will probably agree. But enough about me. What do you think about me, Stu?
All right, you cheating dog.
Well, it's been a fantastic week since we last recorded. Actually, it's probably nearly been 2 now. But what the hey, who's counting? We are deep into the second round of the playoffs. Let's jump straight into it, guys. Let's talk about, in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks tied up today against the Boston Celtics, 1 apiece.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was like the same game happened again, but the result was just flipped. It was one team playing catch-up the whole time. The other team really had it won just after halftime.
Yeah, that's third.
Yeah, really, the whole of the fourth quarter was essentially garbage time. The Bucks really just clicked. But I will say, though, Boston deviated from their game plan a lot. They played a lot of one-on-one stuff, and they missed a shit ton of shots. I don't think they'll have another game like that. Well, certainly not back-to-back, and probably not back in Boston.
Boston came into that game one and just punked them, really. And I don't think... Actually, after game one, I actually realised that, you know what? I probably haven't watched enough Bucks games this year. I've definitely seen a handful of games, but I think every Bucks game I've pretty much watched this year has been like a blowout, and Giannis has just been doing an amazing job, which we spoke on the show, definitely my vote for MVP. But I thought, after watching that game one, and obviously Horford played some fantastic defense, plus we had Kyrie going off. I mean, Bledsoe looked like, oh my God, is this the Bledsoe from last year? He just got his payday this season. He can't go out like this. So it's good to see Bucks turn it around and punch back a bit today. As this series goes on, though, I just can't help but think that I think Lopez is due a good game in this series, because if they're going to throw Markieff Morris, if they're going to throw Horford on there and Giannis is going to get tangled up in the middle, then Lopez has got to be ready to shoot from three. But, yeah, that's my thoughts so far. Vince?
They're just quickly, they're teasing that Brogdon might be a Game 3 chance. So that changes them big time.
They need it. I wonder how healthy he is to be out this long, or if it's just, they want to make sure he's 100% ready to go. But, yeah. I mean, if they're going to stick those small guys on Lopez, though, he's going to shoot over the top of them.
What's Brogdon's injury?
He's got plantar fasciitis.
Ooh, that's not fun.
Oh, okay.
That's not fun.
I think I've mentioned this before. You know the quick way to fix that?
What?
No.
You get on a chair and you jump off the chair and you land flat-footed and you snap it.
Oh,
fixed.
shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you must land with your foot totally flat though, so it snaps.
So you're saying it's better
you're
to...
pain-free, and then you can play and then you heal in the off-season.
Okay.
What, you can play once you snapped it?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Wow. Fuck.
A couple of footballers over the years have done it. They're just like, well, I think I'll just break it and then snap it and then heal after the season.
Fuck, that'd hurt.
But I'll say this, what you said about Lopez, he is the type of player who will go into Boston next game and drop 20, help Milwaukee pinch a game. Got to be honest, I haven't had a chance to watch much basketball, but I'll say this, whoever scores the most points, they'll win.
Wisdom beyond your years.
No, look, I did notice, when I did check, I noticed Giannis is getting to the line. He keeps doing that. I think Boston's in trouble anyway, but if he keeps doing that, they're putting Boston under pressure, getting to the line. They're done. They'll get done.
You reckon?
They've been off all year, off all season. There's something just not right at Boston.
I agree. I kind of thought it funny. Let me try that again. I kind of thought it was funny just because it reminded me of Memphis a few years ago. Vince, I don't know if you remember. I remember us talking about it on the show. And all year, it was when we had, I think it was when Coach Yeager gave Jarmichael Green the starting gig in Memphis over Zebo. And Zebo was coming off the bench. Rolled out, still pumping out his double-doubles off the bench all year. Then it hit playoffs. And what did he do? First thing he did, Zebo back in the lineup. It's like if you want to win, you've got to play the guys who can get you the wins, right? And I kind of felt like that was what happened with Brad Stevens in that game 1 against Milwaukee, and when he put Jaylen Brown in the starting lineup. Because, I mean, look, even today, like Tatum, stinker, 5 points. Gordon Hayward, stinker, 5 points. Yeah. Jaylen Brown, I mean, we've spoken, Stu, I know you're so high in the kid, and it's, there's just something there, right? Like, there's just something there. If this kid gets traded, he's going to blow up on any other team he joins. And I think it was just the case of, I mean, he's not letting go of the starting gig anytime soon. Yeah,
he led them in scoring last playoffs as well. I mean, it's not a fluke that he puts up numbers like that. And he does it, if you watch the game, if you haven't watched today's game and you get a chance to watch it, he's not fighting. I mean, he's a good teammate. I think he's a good teammate. But, he's got to get that rock off Kyrie, or he's got to get it off Horford when it's dumped down low, or Morris doesn't give it up. Morris is effectively a black hole. Like, he's a productive black hole, but he basically shoots it every time he gets the ball. So Brown's getting those sort of digits, on a lot of broken plays and, or rebounding and going coast to coast. So, like, if he had an offense built around him or had the keys to one, man, he'd be deadly.
I couldn't believe Gordon Hayward's plus minus for today was minus 30.
Oh, I'm not surprised. You could tell he was trying to shoot himself into rhythm. He was catching some balls on high screens and curling around and shooting shots. So, like, there's no way he should have been shooting. Yeah. I think he was just trying to see the ball go in the bucket to get some sort of a rhythm, and it was to the detriment of chasing what probably was closable gaps. They got it to 10 a couple of times, and they just hit another gear. It's interesting. One of the dudes who follows us and listens to the podcast, Jay Joseph, who's a teammate of mine, he commented on a post somewhere that's saying, you got to remember how deep the Celtics are on any given night. You can have, probably 5 different top scorers. And I called him out on it. I said, you got to remember that Bledsoe can lead this Bucks team in scoring. Middleton will lead this Bucks team in scoring. Giannis can lead. And, you can have a game where Lopez can go and hit 6 and 7 3-pointers. Yes. They don't discount the scoring ability of this team.
We should get into playoff predictions for this series, guys. Stu, who have you got, Boston or Milwaukee?
Ooh, gee whiz. I find it really hard to root against my guy Kyrie, and it was very clear in game one that Bucks are lacking a little bit of playoff polish, but you got to earn it, right? I'm going to go Milwaukee.
Ooh, I like it. Vince, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going the Bucks.
That's 3. Yep.
Okay.
Well, let's move to the other squads playing it out in the Eastern Conference. Man, I've been pretty entertained watching this. A series tied up 1 apiece. Philadelphia 76ers take on the Toronto Raptors. Guys, Philly wasn't expecting that game 1.
It had a lot of first round Brooklyn versus Philly for me. That game 1, I think there was one team, that was Philly in both instances, that kind of, I don't know, came out of it a little bit sluggish and maybe underestimated their opponent. And then they came back in game 2 very much like they did in that series and really showed what they can do. And probably played the way they should have in game 1, and that was inside out and using Embiid a lot. So sure. I tell you what, as a fan of basketball, this is the clash of the titans. This is a really good series and 2 close games. I just hope it goes to 7. I'd love to hear your thoughts on some of the nuances of the matchups, but I don't know. I do think that in terms of weaponry and putting points on the board, and to, I guess, bring up Vince's gem that whoever scores the most points is going to win. I do think Philly have a lot of points in them and a lot of weapons to fill that box score, whereas, Toronto are heavily reliant on good games from Siakam, from Kawhi, from Lowry, and whatever Gasol can give them. So I think weaponry gives Philly the advantage, but I think Toronto have a coaching advantage. So I don't know. I'm keen to hear what you guys think.
Vince.
I had a really good thought, and it's just escaped me.
Well, maybe next year.
Oh my God, I told you, what did I say 2 weeks ago? Dementia. Look, if I'm Ben Simmons, I am just getting, and this is probably just to get on the back of what Benson said, I'm getting Tobias, Jimmy, Embiid, Redick, a ton of shots, setting them all up, getting them going. Get them going, you'll outscore them. As good as Toronto are, Philly have way more weapons, and he has to get them rolling. Jimmy dropped 30 today. Jimmy can't wait for Embiid to say, carry the team on crook. Jimmy needs to drop 25, 30 every night. Yeah. It's playoffs. And I think it's part of Simmons' job to get him going, get Tobias going, get the team going. We all know Simmons can score when he wants to. He can get the basket when he wants to. That's the way they're going to beat this Toronto team.
They definitely, that game 1, they definitely sagged off Simmons and challenged him to shoot. Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. I totally agree with. I think I know where you're going with it. If you can't shoot the outside shot, or if you can't shoot the J, you got to stay a part of the game, right? And when you're that talented, you got to, like you say, you got to get everyone moving, everyone involved, and then your opportunities will open up. I just don't know. We saw this early with Kobe. In developing his 3-point shot. He was definitely not as bad as Simmons, but we all remember the Utah series, missing those deep threes and stuff like that. I'm just really surprised that we don't see him shoot any. He doesn't even attempt them.
It's strange.
Because even if he went 2 from 6, right? And you're the defender, you'd be like, shit, he might hit this one. But there's no attempt, there's no desire that he's shown to even put up a shot. Which I just find baffling.
They do have to keep within a certain proximity of him, though, because if you give him a run up, he's tough. He's Giannis-like in his spinning.
I agree, but that game 1 especially, man, I just felt like they just. My other thing, I suppose. Look, I won't go into that too much because I like Simmons, and
don't you hang shit on Simmons? Because
I'm just saying, I'm just shocked. You got to attempt him. You got to take him. Do you know what I mean? What's he waiting for? Is he waiting for the off season so he can develop it further before he pulls it out of his magic bag? That's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. You need to take it at game speed in situations like this because that's what's going to get you there. Not fucking shooting against your fucking trainer who's not going to put his arm up on you. Come on, let's get real about this. I don't feel like Philly is serious.
Turn it up, Wayne.
I don't feel like they're serious, man. They're joking.
Turn it up.
Mate, they are joking around and clowning around. Embiid's dancing on the fucking sidelines with the cheerleaders before and during the games. This is the fucking playoffs. They'll get bounced if they're not careful.
Listen, mate, part of being a team is enjoying each other's company. If I see them enjoying each other's company, mate, that's a good sign.
You've got 82 regular games for that shit. This is the second round of the playoffs.
It's all part of it, Wayne. You don't just turn the camaraderie off and on like a tap. You work on it all year. You bond.
Enjoy Embiid and the presser talking about having the runs.
Enjoying each other's company will make you play better out on the court.
I'd rather see them doing that than the lack of that you're seeing from Boston right now.
Yeah, fuck Boston though. Who cares?
Jeez.
You know what I mean, though. I mean,
no, I agree with what you say. Like, I can see that point. I just feel like they're not taking this serious. They showed this. They showed this same card when they played Brooklyn, and it worked out from they got the win. Let me remind you, we all picked Brooklyn to win.
Oh yeah,
but I just feel as deep as the playoffs goes, they've got to stay focused, and they got to there's a task at hand. It's not over after one game. You know.
Hang on, what we didn't all pick? Hang on,
we all picked Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think we did.
No, I didn't pick Brooklyn.
You picked Brooklyn.
You sure?
I'm 93% sure.
Yeah, no, I'll take that 7% over you, mate. There's no way I'm going to get Simmons in Brooklyn. No.
Right, I'm gonna double check it. I know we did, Stu. We definitely did.
Yeah, I did.
Can I ask a question? 2 questions. Why isn't McConnell playing? Secondly, is Simmons, when he's got a smaller guy on him, is Simmons taking him into the post and using him? He should be.
No, he should be, and he's not. He's still. It's that unselfish. It's like the LeBron gene when he was younger, and it was just LeBron used to kick it out to like Drew Gooden and Zydrunas Ilgauskas when he was paired up with a point guard who was like 6 inches shorter than him, and the play would have been to back him down and dominate. And it did happen to LeBron. Like he got about year 3 and decided this is ridiculous. Like I'm bigger than some of the centers. I'm going crazy. But Simmons doesn't do it. He backs it out, or he loops around under the key, under Embiid, and tracks back out to the 3-point line. It's kind of maddening.
Well, guys, who's taking this series, Philly or Toronto?
Look, call me crazy, and many people have, but I'm sticking with my Aussie boys.
You going Philly?
Yep.
All right, Stu, who have you got?
I picked him early, so I'll stick with him. I'll stay with Philly.
I'm going Toronto. Not just to be different. And look, I obviously have massive hesitation, but I just feel like Kawhi Leonard is a better player than Kyle Lowry, if that makes sense.
That decision,
just the fact that
Benson,
come on, mister, they got to score more points in the team. Fucking give me crap. Come on now. Yeah, I mean that in the sense that he's that good of a player. If Larry has a shit game, he can play for the both of them. That's what I mean when I say that.
Right. Thank God you clarified that. I was about to check and see if you had an aneurysm or a stroke.
And I still stand by my statement. Whoever scores more wins.
Well, let's move to the Western Conference and the Portland Trailblazers. Massive win over the OKC Thunder. Some shitty defense by Paul George. They take on the Denver Nuggets, guys.
Can I just say that first round win by Portland, for all you pitiful, pathetic Portland fans, that's your championship, okay? That's the close. Like, hang a banner up, we got past the first round, because that's what you do down there. You hang banners for going out of the first round. That's your championship, all right? That's the closest you'll get. You're not getting past Denver. You're not good enough.
Wow.
Enjoy the first round. And by the way, Damian Lillard, he should leave. He should leave Portland. He's never going to win anything there. Seriously, just go to the West. Go to, I don't know, someone out there, Benson. Maybe Lakers. Go to Lakers.
Go Wester. Go Wester.
Well, I told you, I've got a bit of dementia. That's okay. Go to the Lakers. Go to the East. Whatever. Just leave.
Oh, shit.
Because you're not going to win a title there.
Well, look,
God, I hate Portland.
Oh, of course. I don't know why we lose listeners every week. You just trash all Portland fans we have. Sorry, Cam.
There's no Portland fans in Australia anymore.
Oh, boy. Yeah, look, I'll jump in on this one. Portland's in trouble. Portland's in a lot of trouble. I think they're better than what they showed in Game 1, though. There was a lot of uncharacteristic yapping at the refs. Usually Portland, I think that's why I like watching a few Portland games, is because they tend to not pull a Houston, which is refreshing. But obviously Cantor has the shoulder injury and tried to play through that. in this series, and that's going to be very hard to do when the Joker is just playing like he's the best centre in the league.
Hang on a second. Didn't Cantor have a good game? Didn't he drop like 20 odd?
Yeah, but he's still restricted, like wincing on dunks and stuff like that. Like I just,
poor baby.
Mate, I'm just saying, it's a 7-game
26,
series.
mate.
It's a 7. It's not a fucking sprint. It's a 7-game series, and I don't feel like that injury is getting any better for him.
Mate, you dropped 26 with that injury. He can play. There's no excuses.
No excuses?
No.
Okay, it's a long series. That's all I'm saying. Then there's not.
It is a long series, so that would mean he's got more time to heal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think it really works that way, but
get in the hyperbaric chamber.
It needs fucking rest, Vince. It needs rest. And
what did I just say? Get in the hyperbaric chamber.
It's not going to do it, mate.
Surely they've got one.
Rightio. Stu, some thoughts.
Oh, don't get all pissy.
I'm not
getting boys
pissy. Damn, sound like my son. I'm not angry. Stu, some thoughts. Save us. Save the show, Stu.
Yeah, Jesus, can we get back on track? I don't know. I don't want to count Portland out. I just think it wasn't their game. They, as you said, they were drawing at refs, and they kind of were playing a game within a game. They're way better than their game one performance, and I don't know. They match up pretty well, with the exception of the Joker, who I think is going to have his way in any series against any opposition if used correctly. I don't know. It could definitely go 6 or 7. I think CJ and Lillard will have a much better game too. They know what's on the line. They're not satisfied after round one. They hear Australian podcasts mocking them.
Using it as fire.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're missing Yusuf Nurkic. I mean, big time. That's a massive loss. But Cantor's just absolutely Energizer bunnying it. I was a little bit concerned after he pulled off that dunk. I mean, he himself looked back at Coach Stotts and indicated that he re-injured himself to a degree, that he needed careful. But they've got big bodies, man. Like they've got bigs off the bench. They've got body. They've got veteran leadership. It's too early to call it for me. I think it's going to go to 6 or 7, and I'm not going to count Portland out. I'm still not sure who I'm picking. I'll let you guys talk a bit.
Well, it's just that thing, because when Cantor wasn't on him and came out, they didn't really have, they were putting, I think Mo Harkless on him at stages. I'm like, you can't do that. He's straight to the top, and he's such a good and willing passer as well that, there's a reason why the offense is flowing through him right now, because he's just in form. That Spurs series, man, he was unbelievable. Yeah,
in terms of length and size and strength, I mean, yeah, Myers Leonard is probably their best chance at pushing him around. They can throw some fouls with Zach Collins as well, but Mo Harkless, he's too undersized to be going up against the Joker.
Vince.
I wish Nurkic was playing, because being the ex-Denver player that he was, he would really get up for this series and really want to take it as best as he can at Jokic.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I look at Jokic, he's a man mountain that if he actually found the gym in Denver...
It's true.
If he could find the gym, my God, I'd shudder to think what he'd be like.
Wouldn't he? He would be an absolute, what would you compare him to?
He would be, he's nigh unstoppable now, but he would be, I dare say, one of the best to ever play at that position if he could just find the gym.
Yeah.
If he had hops and had like Shaq had that, I'm going to dunk on you. Not every center has that, every time I get the ball, I'm going to shove that fucking thing down your throat. It's just a thing you've got, right? And then if he had that with his passing and his footwork and his 3-point shot, Christ, it would be. It'd be all time.
Watching that Spurs series against Denver, I couldn't help but watch it and smile a little, because I was just like, this is what Arvydas Sabonis should have been like. He should have been he reminds me of that sort of game, but more mobile. At least we get it kind of now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't actually. Something I should probably do. I haven't seen a lot of a young Arvydas. Would have been interesting to compare.
Well, it's just that we got him so late in his career. Do you know what I mean? He was nowhere near as mobile as what he was, but he was. You can see the passing, you can see the length. Sabonis was kind of the other way, body wise though. Was a bit of a I don't know what the word is. It's just a bit more chunkier. More
Yeah, when he was younger, he wasn't. When he was
No.
younger, like when he was playing over in Russia and he was mulleted and
I'm talking Portland.
mustachioed.
Yeah, Portland Sabonis. Yeah.
Because when did he hit Portland? When he was about 33?
Yeah, he was drafted 80s and started playing mid-90s, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, he came end of about 97, 98, I think, because he was there for when the Lakers knocked him out.
Yeah.
But he's just massive. Even when he lost his mobility and all that, just basketball IQ. He was so good.
Yeah. So who have you got, Wayno?
I've got Portland. It's not going to be easy.
Oh, you're still paving your real road to the championship.
Look, I'm just saying, watching Portland this year, they've just found ways to win. And I don't know if many people at the start of that series against the Thunder picked them to win it, but they certainly brought it. And look, I'm not going to overreact from a game one in Denver where Portland didn't play great. I think there's heaps of room for Portland to improve. And I think the thing with this Portland squad is once they get momentum, that's kind of been the MO of this season. Like once they got that momentum, that's kind of been it.
Turn it up, Wayne. I'm going to get those brooms out, Denver, because it's going 4-zip.
Come on.
4-zip.
Oh, boy. Really?
Mate, Portland ain't that good.
You don't think they'll get a game back in Portland?
Nah.
Wow.
Nah. Get the brooms out. It's going to be great to see. I can't wait.
Stu, who have you got?
Well, I'm gonna add fuel to Vinny's fire. I'm gonna give Portland. I know I never pick Portland ever. I'm gonna pick them to win it.
Wow.
Oh, you
Upset.
Wayne's all cock a hoop because someone agrees with him.
Yes, I am.
Now look, we
Read me like a book.
honestly, they're probably.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy, man. Like, I think this series could quite easily go 7. Like, I just feel like this Portland squad have shown this throughout the course of this year that they've just found ways to win. When in previous seasons they haven't done that. You know, they've fallen apart. And look, they're fallen apart, and they're still finding ways to win this year. So they get my nudge.
Yeah. I can't. I want to. Logic says. I mean, look at the ladder. Look at how they finished. Look at the weaponry that Denver's got. I mean, they've got Beasley, they've got Murray, they've got Millsap, they've got
Harris.
They've got lots of weapons, man. Like this, I don't want to take anything away from Denver. Like I feel like I have because they're not winning. But technically, you're correct. But
well done, Bill Simmons.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll stick with Portland. Why not?
Cool. Well, we saved the most controversial, I suppose, till the end. The final one in the Western Conference. Defending champs, the Golden State Warriors take on the Houston Rockets. Ho-ha! Boys, look, I just want to say one thing before I let you guys talk about it. Watching game one...
Wait, hang on. Sorry, I just fouled James Harden, sorry.
I was going to say, is that fair? Did I get a tech for that? I just want to say that I thought, before we jump into all the foul talk and stuff like that, I just want to say that the third quarter of game one, for me, I just felt like Golden State had gotten under their skin. And I think that's, for me, was the point where I went, Golden State's winning this series. Because it was the techs, they let Golden State get under their skin. Chris Paul lost it. I think he got a tech at towards the end of the third quarter. Then Dan and Tody got techs, and they could have still won this game, regardless of what you think of the non-calls that should have been called or not called. And before they missed 81 potential fouls in 2018 report came out. Like before any of that BS, like they were still in this game, and they let Golden State get on. Like this. It's so silly because they've been building for the past, 3 years, Stu, to build a team to beat Golden State. And they kind of have that team right now, and they're fucking blowing it. Yep.
They are self-destructing, and it's ridiculous. They're just too worried about the refs, too worried about the calls, and being fucking like fake physical. And it's ridiculous. They know how close they got last season. They should just be focused on themselves, focused on their game, and just blocking that out and being a better basketball team. And they've got the potential, and particularly being so close to tasting it. If they'd have won They were one game away from winning a championship effectively last season. There was no way they weren't going to win the final series had they have advanced. The fact that they're not focused on that and not remembering that is mind-blowing. I think they lost the series in game one, and I think that they're going to get swept.
Vince, do you think that by them, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but obviously the Houston Rockets leaked, if you will, to ESPN, the report they lodged after this game, so this year, they leaked a report they filed with the NBA saying that in 2018, so the season before, there were 81 missed fouls in, Game 7, I think it was?
Game 7, yeah.
Is that just their ploy to try and intimidate the officials and try and sway it for Game 2?
They're probably trying to influence the officials' thinking a little bit, or change the way they're refereeing. But I'll say this, Wayne, what you said is 100% correct.
Holy
that's
shit!
Weird for me to. Yeah, that's weird.
Can you write that down?
Hold on to your toupee, Wayne. I agreed with you.
Holy crap.
I've thrown myself agreeing with you. You're under their skin. And secondly, why would you do that and poke the bear?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Kevin Durant, who is in the zone. He's switched on. He wants to drive the dagger through your heart. He wants to step on your throat. He wants to put your teeth on the curb and stomp the back of your head. He wants to put you away. You're not stopping him. You just poke the bear a bit more. You can't poke Curry. Draymond is playing very well. It's like he just waited for the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're not winning. I agree with Benson. I was thinking before, this is going to be a sweep.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They're in the head. They've got Houston so mind fucked right now. Secondly, fuck D'Antoni, fuck Harden, fuck Daryl Morey. These pricks have got away with fooling the referees with these bullshit flops, and Harden taking 10 steps on his stupid step back 3. And now it's come around and bitten them in the arse. They're getting what they deserve, because the league needs to stamp this shit out. Yeah, and I'm glad it's happening to Houston.
100%. I mean, obviously you guys heard my rant in our first round talkings of Houston and my refusal to watch games. It's different this series, obviously, with second round. But it's like you can't play in a playoff game series to the foul. Do you mean you play towards the shot? Do you know what I mean? But that's exactly what they were doing. And to some extent, I almost agree with Harden in the fact that you let these guys play this way all season long.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? It is a little hypocritical.
Yeah, I get that.
But in the same sense, we all know what happens come playoff time. They let teams play more physical. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think they were ready or prepared for that, and they're freaking the fuck out because they can't play their regular season game during this 7-game series right now. And there is definitely a big switch up in officiating from this series and the first 2 games I watched and that Utah series. Yeah. What's the role? I mean, because Harden brought up the Kawhi example for when Zaza was under him, but the way they played him so they turned, so the feet weren't underneath the landing spot. Problem is, like you said, Vince, Harden's taken his jump shot and almost like he's taken a long jump forward. It's like that's even if the defender wasn't there, you wouldn't land on your feet. That's not a natural shooting motion.
Well, and that's why the 2-minute report came out at the end of the game with particular reference to the Draymond Green coverage on Harden's last 3-point attempt that they all had a massive hissy fit about. There is no way in terms of physiologically that he could have landed the way that he had his feet. He'd stuck them out purposely, and I'll tell you what, one of them's going to break a leg, one of them's going to snap an ankle.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Oh, shit. Say that again. No.
This is 3 weeks in a row. Red Tube has come on.
No. You know what it is? Because I jumped to ESPN. I jumped to ESPN because I wanted to see the stats from today's game, and they have a fucking pop-up. So sorry.
Right, so you don't listen to me.
No, go again. I wanted to hear what you're saying. Sorry. Keep going. From the top.
Yeah, say that heartfelt thing again.
I'm so sorry. Oh, no.
What time was that video, Wayne? It sounded pretty get me in the mood.
It was a banjo.
Oh, no, I was just saying, the NBA released the final 2-minute report and they cleared Draymond Green of putting his feet under Harden, which he didn't. You watch that clip, it doesn't matter what angle you look at, that is a completely unnatural attempt at putting your feet in the way of the landing defender. Someone's going to break a leg. Someone's going to snap an ankle. If Harden had just focused on the lift and the mechanics and the shot, instead of having it in his head, where am I going to land? Like, if they don't come into game 3 thinking, all right, the caper's over, the charade's done, we've got to start hitting shots instead of trying to get fouls, then they're not going to, they are going to get swept. They've got to stop playing for fouls.
They won't. And you know why? Have a look at the big whinger they've got running the show. Mike
I know. I
the
agree.
Biggest, mate, I can't wait till they're just knocked out. Greatest day in the history of our sport.
I tell you what, I going into this series before the ball went up for the first game, I was actually thinking, Houston have a real chance to beat Warriors right now. We saw what happened to them in that first round series against Clippers. Clippers obviously battlers and got 2 games on at home after, losing big leads. But Houston have everything they wanted going to this series. I mean, they finally had a healthy Chris Paul in a play. Do you know what I mean? Like, they finally had him fucking healthy, and this is what they did. I mean, live and die by the 3 as well. Oh my God, like, if you're Harden, why aren't you driving and trying to take contact? But they're just shooting threes with no attempts. Like, it's almost like they go for the 3-point shot and just land on their bums, right? Like, there's no attempt to even land, like, at all.
Yeah, but guys, if you're a Houston fan, do you have a concern right now that you're worried that Chris Paul can't bust out for a 30-point game? To me, he doesn't look like he can do that right now.
He's playing well. I mean, 18 points, six rebounds. Sorry, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals.
Yeah, he's playing well if you're TJ McConnell.
Jeez.
Who I like.
Yeah.
Look, they just can't outscore the Warriors. They can't. Like, it needs to be a perfect symphony of, Harden needs to be hitting, Paul needs to be hitting, Eric Gordon needs to be on point, PJ Tucker's got to be hitting from the corner. I like Daniel House. He's going to get paid. Daniel House is honestly, man, like, he's a great player. But they need these guys. Like, Gerald Green's got to come on. Hey?
Settle down.
He did have 0 points today,
Yeah.
He's got him a fucking great player. Okay?
He only got 5 minutes and put up a 3, okay? That's fair.
Wayne's.
Yeah, I was going to say, he didn't get any court time. He didn't get any court time. But, when Gerald Green comes on, he's got to hit. When Austin Rivers is on, he's got to hit. Austin Rivers didn't play today, but...
yeah, he did.
You know what I mean? Did he?
Yeah.
I think he dropped like 14 or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, they were memorable.
Well, I was going to say, no, I totally agree with what you're saying. The guy who I actually, for Houston, I think has been playing outstanding, especially in that game 1, and I thought was a real X factor. Like, I'm not a Houston fan, I don't want them to win, but I felt like they could have won that game 1 quite easily. Eric Gordon is just been lights out, man, and he still played well today, but yeah, this Houston team could be so much more dangerous. I hate to say it, but if they just play the game the right way.
Kevin Durant is a bad man.
Oh, best player in the league right now.
Man, you can say what you want about him changing teams and joining the dark side, whatever you want to do. Dude is a bad man.
He is just building his brand so high right now. He's going to get so paid wherever he goes after this.
He's worth any and every cent of it. He should be the max player in the league. He is absolutely pinnacle right now.
Vince, did you say sweep?
Get the brooms out, my friend.
Whoa.
Go down to Bunnings, buy some brooms, and sweep the Rockets out the door.
Wow.
They've poked the bear. They have poked the bear. They shouldn't have pissed and moaned about the refereeing and sent in the report. They've poked the bear. They're done.
I think Houston will get 1 game at home. It'll be like a pity fuck, though. Like, it won't be anything substantial. Sorry. I couldn't think of a better time. It's just like, it's a pity fuck. They know, it's going to be a nothing win. I think they get 1 game in this series.
I'm going to go sweep as well, man. I think they're under their skin. I think, again, they've poked the bear. I think that after probably what was their least impressive regular season and then a first round that had everyone wondering whether this team had it in them, I don't know. I think I've been guilty of what a lot of people have, and that's forgetting just how good this team is and how well coached they are. I think I think they're on track, and I think the Rockets are off the rails. So I'm going to give it to them in a sweep.
Hey Vince, quick bet. Before the series over, does Chris Paul injure himself?
Yeah, he's going to pull a hamstring.
He played 40 minutes today, bro. 40.
Oh, yeah, next game he's going to ping something.
Hammy? Hamstring.
Yeah, he'll ping his hamstring or groin, one of those.
Oh, groin. Fuck, the worst. Oh, my God. Sorry.
I actually work with a ex-cheerleader from the Magic days.
Ooh.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's told me some stories about Phil Smythe, which I won't...
Oh, wow.
Mini-sode.
Yeah, no, I won't divulge them.
The amount of jokes he would have had about polishing his head.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Bloody... No, there's no polishing going on, Vincent. That's... Yeah. Come on, mate.
All right, I don't know who listens to the show.
Oh, wait. We'll take it a turn.
Oh, this from the guy who 3 weeks in a row has left his RedTube window open.
Mate.
Like I said, mate, we don't care that you're watching the porn, but can you please close the window when you press record?
I'm forgetful. I forgot it was there.
Oh, happy anniversary for the other day too, buddy.
Me?
Yeah, wasn't it your anniversary the other day?
Oh, yeah, it was too. Thanks, bro.
Jeez. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah. Must have been memorable.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
Nah, it was last week, wasn't it?
Nah, 2 weeks ago. But
jeez.
appreciate it. It would have been a while
Sorry,
since we recorded, that's all.
my memory's fucking terrible.
You are.
What was the, was it of marriage or being together, or what was it?
It was our
Wedding.
wedding anniversary, yeah.
Like a wise man once said, yep, somebody picked him.
And we come full circle. And of course, you can catch more of the Courtside madness.
Hang on. Before we go, I just want to give, just want to put Benson over and myself. Love having Benson on. He's professional. He's got the TV experience. He's been on the block, Sunrise. Hangs around with James Packer every now and then. And myself. We'll do a great job.
He's Batman.
That's all we got to put over, I think.
I'll never forget again, I promise. God.
But nah, great job, Benson. Yeah, it's good.
Thanks, mate. No, in terms of podcast hosting, mate, there's none better. So I'm privileged to do it with you every week.
Thanks, mate.
Mate, it really, it really wouldn't be the same without you. And certainly, I can tell you that if I was to go on another podcast, which I don't think I would, to be completely honest with you, I would feel like it was an act of betrayal. But if I did, listen, there's one name that will come out of my mouth first, and you know who it is, mate.
Thanks, buddy. I've got tingles, and in all the right places when you say things like that. So I appreciate it.
Boy.
But again, I'm not saying I would, because deception and betrayal and backstabbery it's just not me, mate. It's just not me.
No, I know that. It's someone else, but it's not us.
I hate you both. Let's wrap up the show. And of course, you can catch more of the Courtside banter at the site www.crtste.podbean.com. Down there, you'll find links to the show, our links to Facebook, where we're there ranting, raving all week long, talking about all the latest NBA news. Guys, swing down, give us a like, subscribe to the show, and of course, we'll catch you later on with more playoff talk.
Here it comes. Watch out! Here it comes.